Well, I'll tell you what. We can always run it and then run it back one at a time if you want to do it that way. So
Okay.
I'll do it that way.
Well,
All right.
So we can safely assume
Cue
that
it up.
Trump is going to be the Republican nominee for president. Here are the first 15 promises he has made if he is reelected. You may have heard of Project 2025, but this is from Agenda 47. And you can read all of these on his website. First, he promises that he will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history. He will also ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. He will close the Department of Education and return all education standards to the states to decide. He will put prayer back into school, and he will criminalize any race-based advantage programs. He will end the Affordable Care Act. He will ban gender-affirming care for adults and children, and he will ban any federal dollars from going towards gender-affirming care, which means anyone with government-provided health care will no longer be able to access gender-affirming care except for Viagra and Cialis. Those will still be available. He will propose a constitutional amendment that gives a term limit to Congress. He will deploy the Department of Justice to investigate the Biden crime family and any of his adversaries or political rivals. He will immediately pardon all of the January 6thers, and he will create a task force to investigate anyone who arrested, charged, or imprisoned a January 6er. He will increase the penalties for underage criminal offenders, strengthen immunity for police officers, and deploy the National Guard to patrol woke cities. On day one, he will reassess our participation in NATO and says that every European country needs to pay the United States for protection. He will also restore the wonderful travel ban for Muslims coming to America. He will build freedom cities. This is 10 new cities built on federal land. He will award them to areas with the best development proposals, and he will prioritize moving young families to these freedom cities. He will kill all e-vehicles and e-vehicle legislation, seeking to replace that with the development of a flying car. He believes that we can create a car that vertically takes off. He will remove all of the limits on American natural gas exports and drill baby drill for oil domestically. He will impose a tariff of up to 60% on Chinese imports. He will extend the 2017 tax cuts and drop the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%. He will push Congress to pass legislation that would give every American the right to concealed carry anywhere at any time. And he will revoke any gun restrictions or legislation that seeks to inhibit people's ability to own guns that's been passed in the last several years. He will demand that Europe pay back all the money we gave Ukraine, and then he will use all of that money to recruit for the American military. And he will take billions and billions of dollars from private university endowments by taxing, fining, and suing the universities. He specifically names Harvard in this one. And then he will use that money to create the American Academy. It is a free online college that will be free of wokeness that he will force employers to recognize as a bachelor's degree equivalent. So that's Agenda 47.
All right. So,
She sounds thrilled.
if I may just go off on this here in a minute. But
Yeah,
I think
buddy.
first of all, she's framing this like all this stuff is bad.
I figured you
It's
would.
not. Yeah, I think she was counting on it for the looks of things. But I want your opinions too. I think we should go through these one by one. Is that cool? All right.
So we
Okay, that's
can
fine.
that Trump is going to be the Republican nominee for president. Here are the first
All right,
15
let's-
promises he has made if he is reelected. You may have heard of Project 2025, but this is from Agenda 47. And you can read all of these on his website. First, he promises that he will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history.
Okay, so that right there, number one, deportation. If you're here illegally, you should not be here.
No.
Simple as that. It's got nothing to do with racism or anything like that. You know, separating
Nothing.
people from their families. If you are not in this country, you are breaking the law. But if you are not legally here, so yes, you should not be here unless you are legally supposed to be. So first of all, I'm supportive of that. First of all, this is a whole list of things. The reason why I want to vote for Trump, actually. So let's continue.
Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, she listed exactly why.
Yeah. She goes on to say he'll ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. Yeah, because they're trafficking children into
Yeah,
sex
I don't think
slavery.
we need to, like,
That's
her
not even
voice and her tone really pissed me off.
Okay, well, I'll just.
I don't know, but
How about I mute her?
I mean, because we got to go through the whole other one too,
All right.
and I just
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go through some of Biden's too, so we're going to be a little fair here. All right, so she said something about death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. Again, if you traffic children into sex slavery, yeah, put them to death. I mean, come on.
yeah, and I've got another.
This should
video.
not be a
Maybe we can
controversy.
save it.
You know.
We can.
All right,
Yeah, go ahead.
let's move on to the next one. Let's see here. She also says he will close the Department of Education and return all education standards to the states to decide. Okay, so that one, I'm not. It's not as bad, but it's like I don't see any problem with the states deciding education. It should be parents should be more involved as well with because the federal government should not be mandating what your children are learning. Period. I mean, this should be more to the people who live in those states. I mean, that again, nothing wrong with that.
Prayer should be in school.
They should be taught the true history, the true way to do math. Why do we have to keep changing the way words are written or what words mean? Like if they were taught the common sense, basic arithmetic, and then went on to learn the trades and home ec, wood shop, all that shit. What do we need all this woke bullshit for?
Yeah, I don't know. And we'll get into that a little bit more here in a minute.
I'm going to say this real quick because on the first episode, I think we talked about men being able to produce milk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a week or two later, they're saying the hormone therapy is giving them cancer. So we're going to have men with breast cancer now?
Well, what do you know?
Well, that's okay. According to our president, the COVID shots can now cure cancer.
Okay,
but I mean, now you could, to be fair, you could say maybe the studies are leading to hopefully maybe getting to that point, but I don't think that's what that's not the way he said it. All right, the next one. He will put prayer back in school.
Which he should.
Yeah. As much as people don't want to admit this country was founded on Christian beliefs.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, that's the way it is. If you don't like it, this isn't the country.
Constitutionalist, and I believe in that.
I remember we had we used to pray in school, like the teacher would do it, like right after the Pledge of Allegiance. And then I want to say it was probably by the time I went to high school, that's when it stopped or whatever. But I remember like 5th, 6th grade. I don't know if it was just her doing it or everybody's class did it, you know what I mean? But I remember a time when that happened.
Yeah, I mean,
now they could get arrested.
Yeah, well, I mean, not only that, you want to teach all these other ideologies in the schools. Yeah. If Christian ideology is not allowed, then none of the other ones should be allowed. Also,
that's what I think.
They're all allowed, or none of them are allowed. That's fair.
I believe in that too. That is yeah.
I mean,
one or the other.
Sorry, that's just the way I feel. All right, let's go on for the next one.
Okay.
She says he will criminalize any race-based advantage programs. Okay, so let's start there. Like the affirmative action. Okay, you're giving advantage to minorities over other people. I mean, that's racism right there. Yep. I mean, yeah, they're framing it like, okay, well, people of color don't get the same advantages as white people or whatnot. But by doing that, you're giving them more advantages than other people. That's not equality. That is putting someone above another.
A person should get a
What
job.
are they actually giving them?
So this is how it works. If it's the way it's worded, it's like the same opportunity. So if me and Eric go for a job, right, and we both have the same qualifications, same certifications, but he has more experience than I do, I could still outweigh his experience with affirmative action in that aspect. But what it does is, not all the time, but the overwhelming majority of the time, to fill a quota, they would just fill these spots with minorities. So whether they're qualified for the job or not. Yeah. So Eric could be fully qualified for that job, and I just know an entry level purpose for the job, and I could still get it over him.
Yeah. I mean, no one's saying that if you're a person of color, you shouldn't get opportunities. Absolutely, you should, but it should be based on your merits. If you're good at the job, you get the job, which is what Trump has consistently said. It should not be based on something just because of your color or skin or something. They're hiring pilots now based on the color of their skin or their ethnicity or their gender or sexuality, not based on like how much flight time or anything like that, or can you do the job safely. That's insane. Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean,
well, they did that with the damn transportation secretary too.
Yeah, he did a bang up job.
So this is
butt plug there.
So far, yeah.
Idiot.
And knowing the South Bend area, he was, in my opinion, not a great mayor when he was there. But that's besides the point. So yeah, so far this is all common sense. This is not. Then she says,
Yeah.
he will end the Affordable Care Act. That one to me,
Good.
it's like they charge you a fee if you don't want. If they make you get insurance. If you don't want insurance, you get charged a fee for not doing it. So how is that good for the poor or the struggling or whatever it might be? I mean, not only that, I've heard that the Biden administration may have negotiated that fee where it's a bit cheaper. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, good. But it's still charging someone for maybe somebody doesn't want insurance at a particular time or can't afford it, and they've decided not to, and now you're making them do it. So, okay. So again,
Well, I don't have insurance right now, and even when I was working full time, I opted out of it.
yeah. So
Trump got rid of the tax penalty for it when he first got presidency.
He wanted to do away with this act completely, but couldn't get it done. Again, you got to understand with presidents, and this goes for Joe Biden as well. Sometimes when presidents promise things, it does require other members of Congress and the Senate to also help you get these things done. Just because they promise them, if they don't, don't come through with their promise, doesn't necessarily mean it's their fault. And I'll say the same for Joe Biden as well. All right.
Well, luckily for us, they have to vote on it, and Joe Biden couldn't just say everybody.
Yeah, and it's also a deterrent for people just being a tyrannical dictator and pushing through anything they want. But obviously, some things they push through anyway. But
I should be a tyrant.
Said that Trump will then also ban gender-affirming care for adults and children. Wondered if the rest of it said anything. Okay, and he will ban any federal dollars from going towards gender-affirming care. Yeah, because this is, again, I know not everybody believes like the right and things like that, but this is evil, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean,
it is. And now that the studies are coming out, there are documentaries, interviews of older men and women that have gone through it when they were a child or young adults and now regret it.
Well, it didn't. How many? And you see these videos of these kids going in for these surgeries and these drug hormones, but you can clearly tell they don't necessarily care to be there. It's their parents forcing this ideology upon them. That is not child's choice.
Yes.
And most
I watched a little girl cry.
You
didn't
were
want to do
born
it.
a man or you were born a woman.
I'm sorry. The hard truth of the matter is you are either a male or a female. There's no in between.
Yep.
No ifs, ands, or buts. There's nothing else.
Well, there actually is an in between, and I knew somebody that actually was born an in between.
Oh, the dysmorphia.
But again, that's the exception to the rule, not the rule.
Exactly. Just like there's exception to everything, and Democrats in general want to see it all black and white. Everybody's can come here. Everybody can do this.
Well, and then you could do everything you want to based on how you feel. But if you're a Bible-believing Christian, and I know not everybody is, but the Bible says, lean not unto your own understanding. Don't follow your heart, or it is wicked. So
yes, sir.
You got to understand that this is where the people on the right are coming from. And again, I understand not everybody are Christians. And the beauty of this country is for everybody to be able to come here. But at the same time, this is what our country is founded on, and it's constitutional. Really.
How we expect you to live on.
But this is the thing, this country was built on immigrants, but those immigrants paid their dues to be here, to be established here. That's all we ask. That's it. At the end of the day, that's all it is. There's a way to go about things. Yeah. And does it take time? Sure. But at the end, you still get what you want.
It's worth the time you put in.
You're here legally, though. You can reap all the benefits of coming to America.
And when it comes to gender affirming care, just because someone says they feel that they're the opposite sex or whatever it might be, if somebody come into a doctor's office who is clearly anorexic, but they felt they were fat, would you tell them to go get liposuction or something? Or would you say, no, you're not healthy. You need to eat. This is the same thing with these people who are sick in the head like this. They need to be told the truth in love. That way they can understand. By actually affirming this delusion, you're only hurting them. You're not helping at the end of the day. All right, so let's move on.
Exactly.
Okay. Affirmative care. Which means anyone with government-provided health care will no longer be able to access gender-affirming care. Yeah, we kind of covered that. Except for Viagra and Cialis. Okay. Those are still available. Okay, that's fine. He will propose in a constitutional. This one should have nobody. Okay, both sides of the aisle should not be upset about this at all. He will propose a constitutional amendment that will give a term limit to Congress. Yes, Congress gave term limits to presidents. Why? Because they said it's dangerous to allow somebody to have too much power for too long, but they would not pass it for themselves. This is absolutely correct. We don't need now. Mitch McConnell is stepping down. There's a bunch of people in Congress and Senate who should be stepping down. Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, you name it, they should all be. Some could even argue that Donald Trump's too old too. Okay, I'll go that far as even say that.
Donald Trump's old, but he is healthier than a fucking horse.
He's definitely better than Joe, in my opinion. He's obviously clearly anybody who's trying to compare the two.
He got that Regeneron when he got COVID, and it regenerated him.
And with ideas like this. Yeah, this is absolutely common sense. I mean, this shouldn't.
It is, Eric. It's common knowledge.
So far, I've not seen anything wrong.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I have to pee. I was going to try to wait, but you know what?
Well,
I'll alert the media.
I'll try to stall a little bit. All right. The next day, she said he will deploy the Department of Justice to investigate the Biden crime family. So, what the Biden crime family is now currently doing to Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Wrong. You can say Donald Trump's an insurrectionist, or he had 91 indictments, or this, that, or the other. But Biden's DOJ, whether they say the DOJ and the Biden administration are completely separate entities or not, it's still under Biden's control. It is Biden's DOJ that is going after Donald Trump right now.
Okay. How much crap does he have on him?
Who, on Biden?
How much crap does Biden have on Biden?
Biden have on himself?
He's going to have more crap than Trump does. You can't even convince me otherwise.
Well, there's already much more evidence, in my opinion, against Joe Biden than there is to Donald Trump.
There's
a lot of allegations against Donald Trump, but lack of evidence. They say this or that or whatever, but we've got bank records, we've got all sorts of emails, laptops, you name it, for Joe Biden, and nobody investigates. Why? Because he controls his own Department of Justice.
Hard facts.
So if Trump were to get in there. If Trump were to get in there and then go after Joe, well, that is technically looking into criminals, which is what the Democrats say they're looking into Joe Biden. But it's not good when you do it to a Democrat, but it's perfectly okay to do to Republicans.
That's what I was going to say. Like,
hard facts.
It's what the rules for thee, not for me. Like, you're complaining about the same thing that's happening now. So your argument is it's a mute argument. Like, what are you talking about at the end? You're mad because he will do what they did to him? Yeah. Is it petty? For sure, 100%. And I'm here for the pettiness. So, like, why would I let you skate? But like you said, the deal is, though, I have proof of what you did. You just got a bunch of people to say some crazy shit about me, and
just because his administration and the media are backing him up and saying he's done nothing wrong does not mean that's the case. And you can say the same for Trump.
But that's because nobody wants to admit it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to say they're wrong. Nobody ever wants to admit, that's my bad. Like, I was wrong. So, in order to go, even though you know he's wrong, you're not going to admit it. So you're just like, nah, you got to ride it out. You just got to see it till the end, and then you act surprised. Or like you were duped the whole time. You know what I mean? And I promise you that's what's going to happen. You know, if and when all this stuff comes out and it's all proven to be true,
and
there'll be a lot of people going, you know, I was blind.
Even if it's been proven to be true, nothing will happen to him. Because Republicans don't have the balls to do anything about it yet. Hopefully that'll change. But
all the people's wallets that are just about to get.
Well, and the biggest thing I had about the State of the Union last night, he ended that yelling speech the whole time. He said, quote, "You cannot lead by anger, hatred, and retribution," says the man who yelled at everybody for an hour and a half and is trying to politically jail his political opponent. I mean, okay, you know, you can't only be happy when you guys win. Well, guess what? Tell that to every single Democrat for the last 2 decades who denied elections every single time they lost.
And the jailing the political opponent is getting old. That
But
they've been leaning on that for a while.
But here's
now.
the thing: nobody's ever done it. This is the first time they've tried to do it against Trump.
But they're leaning on it.
And they've
for
opened
a
Pandora's
while.
box. So you know what's going to happen next time when a Republican gets in there? They're going to go after a Democrat and say, "Oh, you're trying to commit this crime," and we've got a vicious circle.
Yeah.
This is why Trump is calling for presidential immunity, because if this continues to go on over and over and over again, it's going to lead to things like civil war. And he's absolutely correct about it. So it's got nothing to do with the fact that you can't charge a man for a crime that he might have committed while he was in the presidency.
Correct.
Because the proper way to do that is to get impeached, convicted, which Trump was not. Trump was acquitted. And if he's convicted, that's when you could go after them and prosecute them, because everybody, including both sides of Congress and the Senate, would then agree he's done a crime. He needs to face the consequences. That's not what happened under Trump. So,
no.
All right. So let's move on before I
move on. Next.
I'm getting there.
I've never seen Eric so hyped. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never.
It ticks me off because the reason why I get so hot is because it's hypocritical to me, and I hate seeing crap that's been skewed by the media, been lied about for years, propaganda everywhere, but yet they act like it's fact, and I can show you thousands of clips and evidence of why it's not.
That's what it is. Eric's right. It's just crap.
What's that? Get there? All right, let's move on. We'll try to speed it up a little bit here.
Yeah.
But all right. Let's see here. The next thing she says is any adversaries or political rivals. Again, that's kind of what's happening now. He will immediately pardon all of the January 6th prisoners or people who committed. All right. First of all, not everybody on January 6th committed a crime.
No.
Not to mention those who were convicted of crimes. Some of them pled guilty. Absolutely. Fair. Some of them did break the law, and those should be facing the consequences. Absolutely. You can't destroy property, things like that. Absolutely.
No destruction
However,
of property.
there are certain videos and stuff of grandmas who are just walking on the area who did not do anything wrong. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they're being sentenced to jail for over 100 years. That's ridiculous. Those are the people they're talking about he's going to pardon. So
there's been people that have died in prison, people not getting medical care. You know, they're
committed suicide because
horribly.
They've been labeled as traitors. Not all of them.
Yep.
I mean, I would venture to say none of them are traitors. They were upset. Was it a riot? Should it have happened? Yes to the riot. No, it shouldn't have happened. But to say it was insurrection, Joe Biden loves to tout the fact that if you want to go against the government, you need an F-15 in order to do it. But yet, a bunch of unarmed people who had no plan was going to overthrow the democracy, or the constitutional republic is what we really are. Come on, you can't have it both ways. This is ridiculous.
There were people we got let in. Like doors.
Yeah, there's a video.
And the majority of these people got sentenced with or convicted of trespassing, but the charge with the sentence far outweighed the charge. It was ridiculous.
Not only that, the Capitol's a big place. On one end of the building, they're rioting. On the other end of the building, these people have no idea what's going on the far side where the fires are burning and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're the ones who go to jail. You know, I mean, there's just certain people who are jailed right now that should not be in jail. Certain ones, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe the sentence may be too long. That's something that needs to be revisited as well. But the Democrats have labeled these people as traitors to this entire country, and that's just simply not the case. They're trying to fearmonger and try to paint Trump as this dictator so you won't vote for him and you'll vote for them. That's all it is. Wake up to the smell the coffee. All right.
The word swear.
Sorry. It pisses me off.
The word propaganda should be used for that. I'll even go that far.
Yeah. Propaganda. You think Russia's bad with propaganda? This country is just as bad, if not worse.
Propaganda.
All right, let's move on. He will create a task force to investigate anyone who is arrested. Yeah, as he should. Make sure they're being in prison for the right thing, or they shouldn't be in prison. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. He will increase the penalties. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't pull the video back up. He will increase the penalties for underage criminal offenders. Yeah, because look on the news. How many people are robbing grocery stores, convenience stores, running out with hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of things, cell phones, but they get, if they get arrested at all, they're immediately released the next day on bond or without any bond at all. And then they turn right around and then do the exact same thing again because they know they get arrested. They're just going to get let out again. Ask Laken Riley how that went for her. who was brought up in the State of the Union, by the way, by an illegal who was convicted, I think, of theft, released, went to Georgia, then killed this poor girl while she was on a morning jog, and yet it's okay. Why? Because he's an illegal. Well, they won't use the term illegals because illegals insensitive. Apparently, they're undocumented or they're now newcomers, as it's coined, because we can't sound racist. It's got nothing to do with racism. They're criminals, and if there's no consequences, these people are going to continue to do this stuff. So yes, raise the penalties for underage criminal offenders and all criminal offenders at that. Any objections? I'm just on a roll. Okay. All right, next.
I'm just listening to your points, Eric. That's all.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. You got it.
Strengthen immunity for police officers. Now, granted, there are bad apples, 100%. However, the amount of bad apples compared to the good cops
are very minute, very small.
It's not nearly as bad. If the people you say
maybe 15% of 100.
The people you say claim police brutality. Oh, they hurt me. They did this. They handcuffed me too tight. Were you following the cops' instructions? Were you doing as they asked, or were you being belligerent? Were you being defiant the entire time? Are you just trying to claim the victim? Is that what happened?
I'm a huge supporter and advocate for police. I think that's a bunch of crap brought up just to scare people. It's a scare tactic, and that's just my opinion. And
she says Donald Plump. Some of our liberal friends might find that one funny. But Donald Trump said he will deploy the National Guard to patrol woke cities. Let's see if there's anything else to say.
Okay.
Okay. So, first of all, Joe Biden in his State of the Union speech last night says our country is safer than it's ever been. At the exact same week that the governor of New York City, Kathy Hochul, has
described woke city, though.
Well, people
San
this
Francisco.
ideology.
I mean,
whatever. New York City, Chicago, you name it. Big Democrat-led cities.
Like super cities is what you mean by that.
Basically, big cities.
Okay.
This is the same week that he said that the country is the safest it's ever been, that the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, has deployed National Guard into the city because the crime is out of control. But if Trump deploys a National Guard, that's a sin. It's evil. He's Hitler.
It is.
He's trying to, rule with an iron fist. But it's okay for Governor Hochul to do it.
Donald Plump.
Yeah, sorry, Donald Plump. All right, the next one.
Look, Eric, it's an orange man.
Oh, there. Dope.
These are 1 pound oranges.
Yeah. Wow, those are
it's
big
like a
oranges.
Fucking pumpkin. But it's Donald Plump now.
Yeah, you ought to carve one. Yeah, all right, sweet.
Yeah.
This Halloween, I'm doing a Donald Plump pumpkin on my porch.
Yeah. Hey, I get fired up, man. Sometimes I slip a little bit.
Brother.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, including.
Listen, rock out, buddy, rock out.
On day one, he says he will reassess our participation in NATO. Let's see here, and says that every European country needs to pay the United States for protection. Okay, so everybody's going on about how, including Joe Biden, says Donald Trump says he'll allow Putin to do whatever the hell he wants to do. That's not what Trump meant. Okay, what Trump meant. First of all, NATO. He's not making people who are in or countries who are in NATO pay the United States for protection. In the treaty, every single country has to pay 20% to the NATO organization, okay, to help each other out. But there are certain countries in this world, in NATO, who are not paying, as Joe Biden likes to say, their fair share and the 20%. So what Trump is saying is, if you're not paying what you're supposed to be paying, we're not going to back you like the treaty states. Because you're breaking that contract. You're not helping us in return. How much money have we sent to Ukraine without anything in return?
International cooperation.
First of all, and not only that, Ukraine's not a NATO country. So why are we sending them money? Why? Because Putin invaded? Putin didn't invade under Trump, first of all, by the way. He invaded under Joe Biden, and he also invaded Crimea under Barack Obama. So,
yep.
All right. So, again, tell me where I'm telling lies here. So if Trump wants them to pay help, he's not wrong on that. They should be paying their fair share, right? That's the way it's supposed to go. Okay.
You preach, brother. All
right, next. He will restore.
You're hitting it.
He will restore the wonderful travel ban.
I'm having fun over here.
Yeah.
He will also restore the wonderful travel ban for Muslims coming to America. Again, this is what the left does, okay? The Don't Say Gay bill in Florida was the Parental Rights and Education Act. Had nothing to do with children being taught or
I got something to say on this.
the word gay being said in schools, okay? The same thing goes here.
Good
There
luck.
was never a Muslim travel ban. This was a ban against terrorist countries because they're on the terrorist watch list. So terrorism doesn't come to this country.
Correct.
It has nothing to do with their ethnicity, has nothing to do with their religion, none of that. It has to do with safety.
Correct.
Top, bottom, period.
Yes, he is, Aaron.
I like this.
Eric,
Yeah.
add to this, to what you're saying right now.
Go ahead. I need a breather anyway. Go on.
I had a friend who came to this country when I was in high school, and I'm still friends with to this day with. I'm not going to give his name out because amenity, but he was from Baghdad, and he was there during that time period, and his family moved to America for safety reasons.
Uh-huh.
That is what Eric, I think, is trying to get to is it's to save people, not to. Yeah, you got to be careful about this because some are not so, and they are for terrorist countries, like you said.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just for countries, and for anything. His family moved here to get away from that, and I think that's what a lot of the right wants to do is make sure that there's a fine line there.
Yeah.
And if anything, make our borders more secure, not stop them completely.
We've got a wide open border right now with God. He's had what 7 million people have come in over the last 3 years under Joe Biden. It could be upwards of 20 million or so by the time
that
he's out of office, if he gets voted out of office. How many of those people are terrorists right now that are in this country? It only took 19 hijackers on 9/11 to kill 3,000 people. Yeah. We have no idea how many people are here right now.
I'm going to say his first name because good luck, but Yusuf was from Morocco, Muslim.
Yeah.
He used to work with us.
We talked. Yeah. He was my boss. He respect, my God. He respected the
most friendly people you ever meet too, Miranda, isn't
it? Yes. I still talk to him.
Yeah. Great family.
And he would talk about things and stuff, and it's just like,
yes.
I mean, no one on the right, including Trump, is saying don't come here. We're saying come here legally. Now, granted, process is long. Absolutely, I understand, but at the same time,
because then you have somebody like Carlton. Yeah, it took him over 5 years to get his kids here, and I
feel bad for him.
But he did it. But he did it the right way too.
Yeah, you're right.
They need to fix that process, though.
You're right, Brandon. He did it the right way.
And that takes both left and right to come together to do that. But they're too busy bickering and fighting to do that. So I absolutely agree with that. That needs to change, no doubt about it. All right, let's move on to the next thing here.
Next topic.
The next thing she says is he will build freedom cities. This is 10 new cities built on federal land. He will award them to areas with the best developmental proposals, and he will prioritize moving young families to these freedom cities. Now, this one, admittedly, I didn't know a whole lot about this one until I saw this video, okay? And even then, I'm still a little fuzzy on it, so bear with me on this one.
So,
He's got a video out on his – he's got a video out talking about it. It's Agenda 47. And he does want to build new cities to bring new technology.
Right. That's the way I understood it. It's not about
we need that.
They're making it sound like it's some
lockdowns in 15-minute cities.
Or some people and the globalists want to do that sort of thing to where you're not allowed to go anywhere. But this sounds more like opportunity to me to further America to become innovators again, like we once were, like when we, went to space and things like that. It's not about, it's about developing newer cities so these people can do these sort of things. And that's only going to be good for the country.
The Industrial Revolution.
Thank you.
Yeah. Legitimately, this would provide homes, jobs for a lot of people. And then the fact that he wants young families there to help develop these cities. Yes.
Yeah. But what about the entertainment factor? There is so much new shit coming. But the left doesn't want it. They don't want the new technology. They don't want us to succeed. They don't want to work.
They want to stay put.
They want everything handed to them. I just left a place that pays $16 an hour for anybody to work there. Whether you have experience, whether you were in prison for rape, you can get a job there. But the problem with that is they don't ever give you a raise either. So they keep you at $16 an hour. You don't ever make enough money to get out of the halfway house. You don't ever make enough money to get on your feet. And I watched this woman struggle for the entire time I was there because she wanted to get out, but her background kept her from doing anything better. But PTS is keeping her from even
growing
as a person. So Democrat and welfare system, they feed you just enough.
Yeah, just enough to keep you,
it's
for lack of a better term, enslaved.
Pretty much dependent.
Yep.
The Democrats have, whether they won't tell you this because that doesn't go well for them now, but they'll claim they're the anti-slavery party. They're not. They're the party of the KKK. They say that there was a big switch back in the day. Never happened. Never happened. They want to keep you. Nope. Why do you think they're bringing all these, illegals in here? They want cheap labor. I mean, not to mention, expand the consensus or the census. That way, these places are more, electoral votes for Democrats. They want to ship them to certain places so they'll never lose power. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
It's a power thing.
Yeah, basically. All right. She says he also wants to kill all electric vehicles and electric vehicle legislation.
I don't know how I feel.
I don't know that that's true, though.
I don't think that's true, though.
Because in his speeches, he said he'll rag on electric vehicles, but he'll say, drive them if you want to. Drive them if you
that's
trust
the thing.
them.
It's about
But
it's
I
about
can
choice.
go further in my diesel. Or
the left is all about choice, right? But here's the thing. The left wants to completely take away the option of the gas car. Completely. Especially when the
gas
technology,
stove.
Yeah, the gas stove. The technology is not there yet to completely do away with gas or natural gas.
And I don't think it ever will be.
Or fossil fuels.
I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with that if you get to a point to where it's sustainable. Right now, we don't have the charging stations, which I know Joe's pushing for, but there's all sorts of things. You just can't up and just replace it immediately. It's going to take time. It's not there yet.
But even the solar panels would, we'd have to, if we were going all electric, we'd have to go solar. Elon Musk wants to put solar panels in space. That way they're charging all the time. But until he does that, how could we sustain? We can't even keep Texas on in the summer.
Yeah.
Or California.
No, they got rolling. Yeah, I was going to say rolling blackouts in California all the time.
Yeah.
They can't keep the lights on a lot of these places. And they want to keep our cars charged, which, by the way, takes way too long. There's, like I said, if I want to go visit family that's 9 hours away, or 9 hours away, 600 miles. You tell me I got to stop to charge for an hour and a half every few 100 miles because the car won't go more than 2 hours or 3 hours at a time. Sorry, we're not there yet. We're just not. Not to mention, good luck trying to heat your home if the electricity goes out.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't. Not to mention, every bit of clothing you're probably wearing, guess what? Fossil fuels.
Yep.
We can't just get. It's unrealistic. This is why when Biden talks about it in the State of the Union last year, especially, he was laughed at by the Republicans because they know it's not possible right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to have dreams. All right. Apparently, he's also seeking to replace the EV or the e-cars with the development of a flying car. Now, okay, again, nice to have dreams, I guess. We can do it. Maybe. We've been talking about this for years now.
I think it's realistic.
Maybe.
I mean, it'd be dope, though. Listen, go ahead.
Whatever.
Hold on. We just bitched about pilots getting pilot license just because they're black. Like, how are we going to regulate flying cars?
I mean, not to mention what happens when they run out of gas. They just going to drop like a rock.
Maybe.
I mean, there are things that have to be
maybe 4 years down the road.
It'd be sweet to do a donut
get bullet
in a flying
trains
car.
first.
I mean, I'm still waiting on my
I would
hover
take bullet
skateboard from
trains
Back to
here
the Future.
first.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you on that, Miranda. I would take bullet trains and faster flights. You know what I mean? Like, I'd
I
take
will get on a
that
plane.
over
Period.
flying cars.
That's me.
First.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
with
saying?
planes that have duct tape and wheels falling off and
Nah.
doors
Yeah.
flying
Well, maybe
off.
it's a company.
You couldn't pay me right now to get on a plane.
What if it was a company that had flying cars that you could rent or whatever? They
Like a
were
luxury
GPS.
thing. Yeah.
Meet the
Not really
Robinsons.
luxury. Well, I guess it would be luxury because
Yeah, like if you like a limo service or like that party bus deal, you know what I'm saying? But the added novelty of
remember
like a
on the
hover car or
Jetsons
some
where they
shit.
all just kind of went
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
thing and
Viewers
Well, and then a lot of
watch Meet
people
the
were kind of making
Robinsons.
fun of Trump, talking about, oh, it's the Jetsons. I mean, again, who knows if this is attainable? But again, it's all about the innovation stuff of it. We were talking about a second ago. It's trying to push the envelope. That's what America has always done. There's nothing wrong with that.
Take
It's
the
just like
next
at the same
step.
time, like you in going for this flying car idea, you might come up with a better, e-car or a more sufficient like hybrid car that suits both. You know what I mean? Like
Innovation.
innovation comes discovery.
Yeah. But look how she tries to tries to poo-poo this idea. He believes that he could create a car that vertically takes off.
Okay.
We did with the jet.
I bet they once scoffed NASA for trying to put a rocket in space too.
That's okay.
But I'm saying it's not impossible. We did
No,
it
it's
with
not
the jet.
impossible.
The Harrier jet does it.
Do we know now?
Literally
No.
lifts off vertically.
we probably already have the technology. We listened to the damn. I don't remember what it's called now.
We got it from the aliens, so
Look, we're four
Yeah, we
fifths
probably
away this
did.
week.
Yeah.
Drones do it.
I
Drones
joke, but
lift up off the ground.
We can go into that
Yeah.
subject too. I wish my mom's got a really bad cough, and she can't.
Oh
like,
no.
it's
Poor
stupid.
Debbie.
And I
she
listened.
feels
It's funny.
better.
I listened to Tony
Yeah.
Katz the other day, and
Bless her
apparently
heart.
once a week they play COVID, cold, or allergies. Because
Okay.
since the middle of December, somebody in the office has been sick, coughing, sneezing, whatever. Well, she's had this cough for like 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
and
wake up, Matt.
so she hasn't been on. But I want her to be
I
able
know,
to
I'm
come
over
on
here
and talk
sleeping.
about this shit too.
Yeah, we'll have to have her on for sure.
There's some really cool stuff that she's listened to that I've listened to. It's pretty dope, and it would be cool
All
to see.
All right, let's see what else she says.
And there's
here.
also, hey, while we're hold
ahead.
on one second, while I'm thinking about it,
Okay.
please.
just
America Unearthed, is that the TV show that she watched?
I think so. Yeah.
It's on Prime, I believe, and it's a series I think we should all kind of check out.
Yeah.
All right.
She says he will also remove all the limits on American natural gas exports. See if there's anything else.
Okay.
And drill, baby, drill.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Money.
So
Why
make
not?
more
I
money.
remember Panama.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember reading about the Panama Canal when I was in like elementary school, and the people of Panama get lots and lots of
still there?
tax breaks and stuff.
Okay,
Hello?
you guys are still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's
Uh oh. Eric's freezing.
It got crashing.
Eric's freezing up.
Are we still here?
Yeah. We're good.
Yeah, you're still here.
He is. Oh man, that's a goofy smile.
Eric got canceled.
They good. Hey, I'm here. Y'all here?
Yeah.
I think the FBI is watching.
Uh-oh.
Eric got canceled.
Shut him down.
Are we back?
Yes, I can hear all.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Apparently the government didn't like that.
No, they did not.
Down, boss.
Well, guess what? As long as the internet holds out, I'm going to go back to it.
Okay, cool. I'm for it.
Pull it back up, boss.
I gotta find it again. There wasn't much left of that video anyway,
He is
but
not
Yeah.
finished.
Bottom line
I just
is-
want to be thorough and get. I mean, if I have to edit it later, that's
The
All right,
bottom
well,
line
I'll be
is,
right
you're gonna spew crap like that. Fact check first of all. Second of all, try not to be. Have an open
No, man.
mind.
You know,
okay. Here we go.
Have an open mind, Brandon. That's all. I
yeah,
say about
like-
people like that. Have an open mind.
again, innovation's innovation, and I'm here
I mean,
for it. You know what I mean?
I'm a right dude, and I don't shove it in people's face.
I would
Right.
love for it to be a future, like in some of the stuff in Back to the Future. You
Yeah.
remember the scene where they made that pizza, that little pill? You just
Yeah.
put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope.
Like Star Wars when she bakes the muffin and it turns
Yeah.
into like a giant. Yeah, that'd be freaking cool.
That
But
would
if
be
we
neat, wouldn't it?
yeah, we shit on all these ideas of people. Like, wait,
And maybe we shouldn't.
we shouldn't. I think we should. You know, those are the people that make this country. You know, these innovators,
Yes.
these dreamers, so to speak. Like, I guess I could use a word they use a lot, dreamers. But yet, we shit on them. You know,
Walt Disney.
if he wants to install these freedom
Well,
cities
some people don't like
and
him
stuff
anymore either, maybe. But
Well,
that are
that's
giving
what he
people
did.
the opportunity to do shit like that, why would you shit on that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that'd be dope.
He dreamed of having a theme park like that, and look at it now.
I
The
mean,
theme park is one of the most successful theme parks in the world. I may not always agree with what Disney is doing and pulling out right nowadays, but I'm just saying that that's that.
Yeah.
all right.
They
Now we got
innovated.
this. Now we got this back up. I'll go ahead and continue until Miranda gets back.
All right.
He said, "Drill, baby, drill." Again, nothing wrong with that. Like I
Nope.
said, and drill oil domestically. Okay, so again, what's wrong with being energy independent?
Yeah, hold on, Eric. I have a question about that.
Okay,
What
I'll
is
try
wrong
to
with
answer.
that? Like,
Nothing.
why wouldn't you want that?
Why would you want to rely on another country when you have the
Exactly.
ability to sustain yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like it's used to, make certain people rich, and that's about all it's good for. Or I don't
Launder
know.
money and stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think is happening in Ukraine right now.
Lazy.
Look, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who feel like that war doesn't even exist. I feel like I'm not sure the war. I think the war definitely is happening over there, but it is awful strange, at least to me, at the very least, that you don't see any footage of it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The first month or two when it happened, absolutely. But the last, how long has it been now? A year and a half?
Are you talking about
I don't know.
Ukraine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you don't see nothing about it.
Nothing. No.
What I
no,
want to
no.
know is
That's strange.
how is Zelensky buying 2 yachts and a mansion in Miami? Where is he getting all that money from?
Yeah, don't
Where
he got
is
a
Joe
country to
Biden
fight
and all
for?
these Joe Biden and all these politicians who make like what, a couple $100,000 a year, and yet they're cleared millions and millions of dollars?
If our president's only making what, 400 grand a year, Zelensky can't be making that much in Ukraine.
Yeah. Not only
Not
that,
enough to afford
people
yachts.
tend to forget this too. Donald Trump was the only president to refuse to take a salary. He gave it away to, I believe, a charity, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he
Yes.
did.
And he
Yes.
lost money while in office. He
I
did
remember-
not make a profit. So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I remember one person, and this is the only one I know, and he gave one check to Linda McMahon, and I think she still works for him. I hope she's all right through all this stupid shit with Vince.
Yeah, well, her and Vince ain't been together for a long time, so it sounds
Yeah.
like she got away from that situation.
But you
thank God.
know, if
They're still
he's
technically
involved
married,
in that
but-
stuff,
Yeah.
if he's involved in that shit, then
Yeah. Good riddance.
So let's see. She also went on to say he will impose a tariff on up to 60% of Chinese imports. Again,
It
do you
worked
want-
out well the first time.
I mean, also America first. Like, okay, do you want China to get stronger? And I mean, they are like our biggest enemy in the world. I mean, forget Putin. I mean, forget Iran. I mean, China is the one that would probably challenge us the most when it comes to a military fight.
For sure.
No doubt about it. I mean,
yeah.
nuclear arsenal, maybe.
Well,
Okay, you could argue that one, but
I have another question.
uh,
What's wrong with the whole America First phrase or
Nothing.
slogan?
but it sounds like, oh, well, how dare us be selfish? How dare us? But
Why can't
we're
we be
giving so
selfish
much.
for once?
Why can't we have something for ourselves? This
Why
is
can't we be selfish?
these politicians do represent us, don't they? I mean, but yet we're giving
Rare
everything away.
earth minerals.
Why can't
Matt,
we be
Matt
selfish?
mentioned a serviceman who went to Baghdad a while ago.
No, he wasn't a serviceman. He was a student I went to school with, and he got away from
Okay.
that.
Okay, fair enough. But
yeah,
Joe Biden wants to give all these free homes to illegals, put them in hotels, give them credit cards, money, clothes, food.
I
all
have
this
a
stuff.
video
But
on Twitter. Well, if you want to after this, if not, we'll save it. Speaking of hotels in California, James O'Keefe from OMG.
Trying to bring up the limit or bring it up here, but anyway.
James O'Keefe from OMG, which was Project Veritas before they kicked him out, is exposing this shit. And there's human trafficking going on at these hotels, illegals. He's got a new video up that's really interesting.
My point was,
and there's
my point was, you know, he wants to give all this stuff to the illegals and all this stuff, but yet we have homeless running rampant. You could put them people in the hospitals. You know, what about the veterans? When was the last time you did anything for them? They literally put themselves on the line for this country, and you're putting people who even belong in this country legally ahead of them. No wonder your recruitment numbers are way down.
Your sister.
I never understood that. Why not take these, you know, closed?
All right, fair enough. My singing is pretty bad.
These closed, like apartments and schools and stuff that they turn into apartments and old hospitals and shit. Why not renovate these places and provide shelters for the homeless?
You know what,
why not
Brandon,
give incentives for cities?
Because that's
not a bad idea.
Go against their agenda. Remember, they don't want to make anybody better.
No,
the ones that want
us.
to work, they'll give them just enough. The ones that don't want to work, they'll give them just enough to keep them happy too.
So y'all are upset you're not making any money? Well, guess who's doing it to you? People you keep voting for. I mean, that's why Trump was so popular. He's not a member of the establishment and the government, okay? He's an outsider. Why do you think they hate them so? They hate him so much because he's not one of them. He can't be bribed. He's got money. So
he does. He works his ass off. He doesn't. You know, he's worked his ass off ever since he could. Ever since he was a child, he was trying.
He's a businessman.
They hate him because he's self-made.
Yeah, he's just like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is fucking crazy. My mom thinks he's from Mars, and I kind of think he is too. Maybe not physically,
but he's a businessman.
But listen, shut up, Matt.
Well,
touche, sis. You're right.
I'm going to tell you a quick little. What if, like, Mars used to be inhabited, and Elon is a lost soul from Mars?
Hey,
because this man is too smart to be from Earth.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty telling. Well, I don't know if I go by believe all that, but but it's telling that the guy who was literally trying to allow free speech on a platform that was suppressed for a lot of years is now the one getting attacked by the left. What does that tell you? I mean, I thought we were founded on freedom of speech.
And you know,
be about American
he's
values.
got children. He's got children with some pretty crazy women. One of his, like, a couple of his kids, maybe, I don't know how many, are transgender. X is like his protege. Like, I don't think he'll ever leave that kid alone with anybody.
I mean, I don't know much about his personal life, nor do I really care.
Yeah. Well, I started to read his book.
Though.
I mean, I care to know, I guess. But it's his business.
If you listen to audiobooks, I'd listen to it because it's crazy.
That's why everybody goes on about.
Story.
That's why when everybody goes on about Trump and his, supposed, sexual escapades or whatever it might be, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me. Okay.
Yeah.
What affects me is what he does does with his policies and his actions.
All the men.
That's all that matters to me.
All the men that whine about Trump's sex life are jealous that they didn't have one.
Well,
the women would be mad that he would tell them to their faces that they're not his type.
Yeah. Or, I mean, they want to say, oh, well, Trump said, I want to grab women by the P word, but yet they completely ignore all the children that Biden's sniffing, or the fact that his own daughter come out in her own diary and said that he showered with her. They completely ignore that, but it's perfect. All right. Sorry. All right, let's move on to the next bit here. Went on to say he will extend the 2017 tax cuts and drop the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%.
I want to hear Miranda's take on this one.
All right. Everybody wants to say the 2017 tax cuts did not help the middle class. I don't know about you, but I made more money under the Trump years than I ever did under Joe Biden right now. My rent's gone up.
I commented
a lot
on this bitch's video and I said, I bought a house and my interest rate is 5.2% and my car interest rate is 4.1%, and that was under Trump. So I looked if I could refinance now, and it was like 6.7%. Why would I refinance?
Well, I know Joe Biden loves to talk about how we need the corporations to pay their fair share. They're not paying any taxes. Actually, they are paying taxes. Joe just likes to say they're not, but they are. They may not be paying what he wants them to pay.
Oh, the person in the video.
But he is. But they are paying.
Oh.
Not to mention, if he raises the corporate tax rate like Joe Biden says he wants to do in his speech, they say he wants to raise this corporate tax rate to 28%. If they do that, regardless of whether you like this fact or not, companies are going to make their profit no matter what. You can't change it. It's going to happen. So what's going to happen when
no jobs?
When you raise the corporate tax rate, what happens is everything that you now buy costs more because they have to accommodate and fluctuate to pay their taxes. Okay, so this is just
the lucky people that get to keep their jobs are now going to get worked to death.
Yep.
It sounds bad to not tax the corporations as much, but by taxing them less, lowering it to 15%, I know that Joe Biden hates the trickle-down effect, but that's what it is. When corporations don't pay as much taxes, they can pay their people wages better, and then also lower the cost of their products, so we all have more money.
But it's the overtime rate, because now you're getting work to death because they fired all the other people that they don't need. Now you're in a new tax bracket, so now you're paying more taxes.
Yeah. Not to mention under Joe Biden's plan, for the last 3 years, I've owed on my federal taxes. I've never once owed in my life. Now I don't even get a refund. So maybe there's a correlation there. Just saying. All right.
And then most of these companies, if you do raise the taxes, they'll just move the company. So then what?
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. You raise the corporate tax rate, they're just going to go to another country. Joe wants to talk about bringing jobs back here. That's not going to work. Not what they're just going to say, well, it's too expensive here. We're going elsewhere.
Yep.
Why do you think all these jobs came back under Trump? They did. I mean, look it up. All right. Next up here, he said he will push Congress to pass legislation that would give every American, I believe, the ability to conceal carry. Yeah, because the more people with law-abiding citizens with guns, the safer we are, and we can defend ourselves against these lunatics who are going to get guns, whether there's gun laws for them or not. They're going to break the law. If you put more laws up there, they're still going to find a way to get them. So it's not going to do the job.
Yep.
I know it's scary. I get it. And nobody wants anybody to get killed or shot. I understand. But you're not thinking logically about this. You're not.
I feel safer with people that can carry.
Not only that, you got to understand. I know Joe Biden is claiming he doesn't want to take anybody's guns. And the Democrats claim there's certain guns that'll shoot 800 rounds in a minute. First of all, that's false. Okay, it doesn't exist.
That's
if it does, I want one. Okay, but it doesn't exist. Then second of all, I mean, it's just I'm about to run out of gas. Where was I going with this?
No, brother.
No, you had it. It's there.
Universal background checks. I hate to tell you, they already exist.
Yeah.
You can't go try and buy. People who are criminals are going to get guns. It's going to be easy for them no matter what. They're going to.
But not they don't get them the way we get them.
No, but the general public, you go to a gun shop. Hell, go to what was it?
A gun show.
Gun show. You still got to go through it just to get the gun.
There's no way to stop them.
No, but they act like this doesn't already exist. It does. It may not always be enforced. That could be an argument, but then you got to enforce the current laws, just like at our border. Okay, so talking about he's going to restrict legislation that will seek to inhibit people's ability to own guns. No, he's not doing that.
No, that's not going to happen.
These people, But anyway, I mean, because again, there's already restrictions in place. Let's see here. He will demand that Europe pay back all the money we gave to Ukraine. And they shouldn't have got it to begin with. It's not our fight. Again, they're not a NATO country.
I told you that when this first came up. I said, why are we there? That's not my problem.
Yeah.
What y'all got going on is what y'all got going on.
Yep.
I mean, nobody wants anybody to
what about the tribes that still fight each other? And the African countries that kill each other. Why do we only care about certain places?
Well, especially
I
Ukraine,
agree
where
with
we've
Miranda.
actually got evidence that Joe Biden's son has had business dealings with Ukraine. We've got the receipts to prove that, but yet everybody
That's
wants
why
to
we're in a
wonder why
war.
we keep giving money to Ukraine. It's like
Yeah.
something ain't right there. Again, when was the last time you saw footage of this war?
It just seems fishy.
Mhm.
I mean, something ain't right about it. I mean, I'm not.
Fishy.
I mean, again,
Look, I'm just
everybody wants to say,
saying.
"Well, Putin won't stop at Ukraine." Putin's fighting against Ukraine because he's afraid that Ukraine's going to go get into NATO. He wants as far away from the NATO countries as possible. That's why he's trying to take
Yeah.
the area. That way they don't
Mhm.
become a NATO country. If Ukraine becomes a NATO country, which is what the United States and Europe want, it's World War III. And any of you people who've got young children, and I know Brandon and Miranda do, so I pray that this never comes.
Oh, they already know all about what's coming because we listen to it all day long.
With the recruitment numbers down because of reasons we mentioned earlier, they are going to have to probably reinstitute the draft. If you've got a child who's pushing the age of 18, they're going to be the first one on the front lines to go die for this country. You need to really
I'm pretty
consider
sure
that
that's
when you
why-
vote this fall.
I'm pretty sure that's why Jaden wants to start working out.
Well, it's probably not going to be a bad idea. Like I said, I pray to God that doesn't happen. But we're sitting on a powder keg right now when it comes from Gaza to Israel to Russia. We got North Korea, all these countries. If it pops off,
he wants to put a port in Gaza.
yeah, which is another thing that we're going to get into in just a second. But that doesn't help anyone, I don't think, with our taxpayer dollars.
Our tax part.
He will use all the money to recruit that he was going to use for what was it now? I just passed it.
And then
From Ukraine to recruit for the American military. Yeah, because our military is probably garbage right now. How much military arms and equipment have we sent over to Ukraine?
how much do we leave over in Afghanistan?
If a country were to invade us right now, which would be hard to do based on our location, luckily,
Great point, Brandon.
I mean, what would we have left?
What about the vaccine? How many of them got discharged because of the vaccine?
Or
because
didn't take it
and they didn't take it.
Yeah.
That's
or
what
some
I'm
of them
saying. Like, I'm in a fight right now. I've got one of the highest viewed Twitter posts of mine right now over the vaccine because Tracy Deans wants to blame Trump for forcing her family to get the vaccine. And it's like, we all have free will.
Trump didn't force anyone. It was Biden who tried to force people to do
didn't
it.
get it.
Yeah.
Sure,
I
my
didn't get
job didn't force me to get it, but I was in tears the day I thought I was going to have to quit because I would not have gotten that fucking
Our
vaccine,
job was this
and
close
I
to
would have
forcing
quit
us to.
then. Yeah.
If it wasn't,
Like,
if it
there
wasn't
were
for the
some of
Supreme
them.
Court.
Well, if we would have been customer facing, going into the hospitals or working with the doctors, we would have been forced to get it or lose our job.
Yeah.
Even like customer service reps had to get it.
Yeah.
So
Nah.
We were one
Sure,
Supreme
we
Court
were
decision
lucky.
away from having to walk away if we did not want it. But the left wants to say
Yeah.
my body, my choice until it comes to the vaccine. Then it's your body,
But
do what we
some
tell
of
you to
them-
do with it.
Some people just got it so they could travel. Well, if you didn't want to get it and now you're going to bitch about having or getting it, I'm sorry, but you had a choice.
All the early deaths that's going
Also,
on.
when it comes to my body, my
Yeah.
choice, that argument doesn't
Yeah.
hold much weight when it's no longer just your body anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right,
Exactly.
let's move on. Let's see what else here. Goes on to say we'll take billions and billions of dollars from private university endowments by taxing, finding, and suing the universities. He specifically names Harvard because these places are indoctrinating kids and not teaching them proper history and trying to teach them these woke ideologies, which is, again, antithetical to everything this country stands for. So he's doing the right thing and he's defending the Constitution here.
I want to ask about a fraternity. I didn't go to college, wasn't in no fraternity. There is a manager. If you guys think about it a little bit, you'll know. But I will not name names. But this person has it branded on their arm. The fraternity letters or whatever. And it's huge. Like, it looks nasty. Like, whatever it was big and hot. And I can't understand what kind of evil shit goes on in a fraternity that you have to get branded.
But we
like
literally
that.
just did a video that's currently up on the channel now where we saw little elementary school or young teenagers sucking toes of faculty members at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, look up
I gotta
video.
see this.
I'll send you the link later.
Okay.
But yeah, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
But
That's-
you know,
That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
and universities are based at this point. Colleges are a waste of money. All they're going to do is give you debt, which again we're going to talk about the college debt forgiveness here in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically a waste of money and time at this point. You're better off going to a trade school where you're going to make more than enough money there than you would to ever be going to these college institutions at this point. And he wants to use this money to create an American Academy, which it will be free online college that will be free of wokeness that he will force employers to recognize as a bachelor's degree equivalent. First of all, force is a strong word.
What's wrong with that?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, these academies will be teaching the proper American history, not the one that they're trying to erase certain things that have ever happened or try to bend it to whatever ideology they want to put through. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's teaching
Yeah.
students the proper way, and it's going to be free college
Yes.
degree that you can use to get a job later. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I can't wait.
Hopefully,
Nothing bad with that.
that's where this video is.
No.
That's the Trump agenda. Tell me where any of that, from what I understand, from a common sense point of view, is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But she tries
None
to
of
frame this. She inadvertently gives Trump a campaign ad here. Is what
Yeah.
she did.
When I first seen it, I
Now,
thought that's what I thought it was. I was like, oh, this is
Brady's
satire.
like, that's
You know what I mean?
satire, right? But listen, there's another TikTok that I've seen that they are paying influencers to rebrand themselves into DNC operatives and make these videos to their following to do this.
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't even say anything bad about the Trump agenda. It was just her tone. Because she's just going to read Biden's. It's
you know
her
who
tone.
Harry Sisson is? The Krasensteins? They're all paid by
Yes.
the DNC to be
Mhm.
political
Yes.
influencers online. They won't say a bad thing about
Yeah.
Biden. All they do is bash Trump, and they'll flat out lie to you about what they consider are facts, which they're
Yep.
really not.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yep.
that's what they're paid
Yeah,
to do.
I've actually blocked them because I've just been. There's another account that has pictures of Trump in the way he stands. They can, they're trying to make him be the one that's got dementia.
Be the one who's got a mental issue. That's why he stands that way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just they're so demented.
Just
Take your
don't
personal
even go
bias out of it. Okay.
Mhm.
Stop listening to your own mind. Oh, the orange man bad. Listen to what the man says. Listen to what he wants to do. Listen to what he has done. Okay. Yeah. Listen to the Donald Plump over there. Okay. Just listen to what he says and stop just dismissing everything he says because he's the one who's saying it. Okay.
Her eyebrows are
And
killing
stop
me, bro.
accepting the fact that
know.
everything Joe Biden says
I
is absolutely
can't
correct
stand her.
because he's not Trump.
I like
That's the
that
biggest
hair,
problem we
man.
have right
That is some awesome hair.
The eyebrows are
Look at
killing me,
that.
Chad.
But
Oh,
look
God.
at the hair.
They do look
man.
faded on.
He reminds me of Brayden, like not totally. She reminds me of a cross between two people.
I know who you're thinking
like-
about, and I thought the same thing, and I didn't want to say nothing.
Okay. So
Don't you
this
dare
video
say
here,
Matt.
this video here to kind of try to wrap up
I
this
swear
video
to God.
is this is the
No,
the Joe
not you,
Biden.
Matt.
This is the Joe Biden agenda. Now some of this
swear
he
to God.
mentioned he mentioned some of this during his State of the Union speech, but let's listen to what some of his steps are, and we'll discuss those a little bit one by
Okay.
one.
Yesterday, I told you about Agenda 47. It's the first 15 promises that Trump has made
Yeah.
for him is going to look like.
Brother.
And a lot of folks wanted to know what Biden's promises are. Well, tonight is State of the Union. It starts at 9 p.m. And it's where Biden will go over the promises he kept in his first term and the promises he is making for his second
He
term.
kept.
But here's the first 15.
Okay.
He promises to eliminate $20 billion in
Kept.
junk fees.
Okay, junk fees. First of all,
Holy crap.
of all no, don't get me wrong. Junk fees, okay. I don't think it's as big as a problem he's making it out to be, first of all.
I can't do this.
Second of
This is
all,
just so funny.
this is the most minor issue in the grand scheme of everything that's
I
going
have
on
a
in the world
theory.
right now. Okay.
I have a theory. Okay, you guys, Garrett, you've heard me talk about Q. Okay,
Yes.
little bit. I'm not going to go into Q, and I'm not going to get all like conspiracy theory on you. But
That's okay.
Q often said that we are watching a movie. They have it all. They're in control. Whatever. When I see stupid little shit like this, I think, okay, they're sitting at a table and they're like, okay, let's give Biden something decent, just to give him a little bit to run on. Let's get rid of these damn junk fees. We go to resorts all the time. I don't want to pay them either. So let's get rid of junk fees. So they're going to let Biden get rid of junk fees.
Don't get me wrong.
And that's about it.
It would help a little. Don't get me wrong. Okay, as he always says, it'll put a little extra food on the table. Okay, but again, this is a minor issue when it comes to.
Well, listen. I mean, it helped a lot because we're trying to plan a trip to Vegas. I want this to happen.
Yeah.
The resort fees are like stupid. We don't need to pay them.
No.
So
I mean,
anyway,
if you would actually do it, is one thing too.
But that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's you don't have to announce this though. You can just do it. You know what I mean?
Well, not only that, he's announcing this stuff now.
This shouldn't be a talking point for you to be reelected. You know
the criticism he got from the union speech last night was the fact that he's promising all this stuff for if he gets reelected. You're in office now, pal. You can do it now.
Do it now.
True.
Fuck.
Okay.
You can get that done tomorrow, Bob.
Like the border, you have the ability to close the border now. You don't need a new law. All right.
Going forward.
Yeah.
Paying $90 billion in junk fees every year, including on live ticketed events, internet, cable, apartment rentals, banking fees, dealer fees. All of that would be done for.
So
this kind of goes back to the we're getting I'm getting 7 chips instead of 9 chips in my bag of chips now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The chips are smaller. The bags are smaller. The bags and bottles of Gatorade have always had smaller bottles, right? It's not because of shrinkflation.
It's also too though. I will say
less is more.
Nobody says Big Macs have shrunk over the years. Okay, they're not Big Macs no more.
They're Little Macs,
They're
like
not.
from Punch Out.
Like
Mike Punch and Punch Out.
Ow.
They small. But Brandon's right. They small.
So bring that back.
I mean, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like
And
this is
listen.
trivial. But
So one of the people I worked with got a chicken sandwich the other day for, I think they were driving, and her husband got the chicken, and he took a bite, and he was like, "Babe, this isn't chicken."
no,
Problem
I'm to
was,
the point where I
it
don't really want
wasn't
to eat out
fish
sometimes.
either.
Don't
Mystery
know
meat.
It
what
wasn't fish either. It was like flaky. She said, "I don't know what it was." Mystery meat.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They want us eating plant-based, so
and reduce the price of internet.
Okay, reducing the price of the internet and improving Wi-Fi in rural
Okay.
areas. Okay, again, I got no problem with that.
But this isn't something you should be running on, though.
Right? It feels like that he's running on this because everything else that he's tried to run on or has implemented has failed, and this is all he's got.
But
That's
what
it
does that have to do with anything important?
That's what I mean. It's like the situation of like when you're, if you're an older child, right, and you got like a sibling, and you want to go out, but your mom's like, you gotta take your brother with you, or you gotta take your sister with you. You're like, fine, whatever. So you take them with you. They don't partake in the fun shit you doing, but you give them some little shit like, here, play with this while we go over here and do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm giving you something to occupy yourself with, but while I'm going to do all the fun shit. This is like, Trump has these big ideas, new cities, blah, blah, blah. What can we do? I don't know. Get rid of junk fees. We'll fix the internet.
Yeah, people will see it in their pockets and they'll vote for me. Well, I would also see it in my pockets if I had higher wages and lower taxes too, but we can't do that. Even though he says we are. But again, are you feeling that right now? Does anybody else feel like they've got more money in their take-home pay? I mean, if you honestly think
only
that,
because he's been working more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
not only that,
I mean-
he loves to tout how many jobs he's created. 15 million new jobs, which, by the way, most of those are jobs recovered from the pandemic. So he's only created like maybe 4, maybe 5 million at this point. The rest of them were recovered jobs. Not to mention the jobs he's actually created. How many of those are jobs that people having to take 2 or 3 jobs to pay for all this shit that they can't pay for because everything's so damn expensive because of his policies?
I still can't get over her hair.
Killing me, dude.
What the hell?
Her eyebrows.
What is
Yeah.
this doing? What is
I
this doing
know.
with the hair?
I'm going to try to get through so we ain't got to look at her anymore.
Okay.
The Biden-Harris administration has invested more than $440 million to expand the capacity of the registered apprenticeship system. This system supports the education and training needs of more than 1 million apprentices across the country. They would do more of that. He would.
Okay, so I don't know. Maybe,
Why?
Trump literally had a TV show called The Apprentice.
Yeah.
well, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing or anything like that.
But why?
Hey, this actually might be an okay one. I'm not going to lie to you. It might be all right.
Yeah.
Here's the
okay.
thing, though. Here's the thing. This is not something you should be campaigning on.
Brandon's right.
This is all still shit. If this is your goal here, this is all shit you could be doing right now, or you should have did day one.
Well, she's talking like he's already been doing it, and maybe he has, but it's just, I don't know. I just
If
feel
we
like
didn't hear about it then, why the fuck we need to hear about it now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Would
He said-
veto a national abortion ban should it come to his desk.
Okay, that's fine. But here's the thing. This is one place I do disagree with Trump on just a little bit, okay? Everybody wants to say Republicans want to pass a national abortion ban. There may be some who do. Personally, as a pro-life person who believes life begins at conception, I'd be okay with it, personally. Now, Trump states that he wants a 16-week abortion ban. That, to me, is a little too long. But at the same time, that's Trump trying to play the middle of the road here, because Biden wants to allow it all the way up, and Democrats in general want to allow it all the way up to the moment of birth. In some cases, even a little after. So this is Trump trying to be in the middle here, okay? So he's trying to negotiate and be a little bit in between. I understand why he's doing it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but at least I can respect it because he's trying to appease everyone with this one, okay? So that's just my piece on it, but I personally feel like a life is a life and it's not our place. And I understand there's mitigating circumstances like the woman that Biden brought out at the State of the Union who supposedly had to go to another state to get an abortion. From what I understand, her situation was actually still allowed in the state of Texas, I think, that she chose not to do it anyway. I don't know all the details on it. I have to look into it more, but there are certain times where they claim that they absolutely have to have an abortion. They don't, and sometimes just want to do it because they don't want the responsibility, and that's my problem with it. So, but anyway, I don't know. But what else we got here?
Congress to restore the right to privacy and the decriminalization of reproductive health care that we had
again. See, this is what the Democrats do. They twist words. Okay, they're trying to say this is reproductive health for women and their right to choose. That is not reproductive health. It's murder of a child. Okay, it is not your body anymore. It is your body and the baby's body. So it's not just one person's bodily autonomy no more. So they like to twist these words to make it sound like, Republicans are evil. They're trying to take away women's rights. It was, first of all, never a right to get an abortion. It never was. That's why it needs to be codified. So until it is, it's not. So, yeah, again, they just love to twist things.
He would veto a gay marriage ban.
First, Joe Biden would veto a gay marriage ban. Do you know who's for gay marriage and who was not for gay marriage? Donald Trump is for gay marriage. He always has been. Joe Biden, before he ran for president, was against gay marriage.
Yeah, and it was fine. The way the laws were fine.
Okay.
I can't comment on this.
But why did Joe Biden change? Because it benefited him politically.
Exactly.
Nobody, including Donald Trump, is calling for a ban of gay marriage. Okay? Plain and simple.
Jesus Christ.
Marriage be overturned.
That's what I said, Brandon.
28% corporate tax rate. And
we went over the corporate tax rate thing earlier.
Yep.
We would keep the tax reductions for 19 million working Americans that qualified last year.
And we went, and not only that, we went over why that, the tax actually were being reduced under Donald Trump. Also, Miranda, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Donald Trump propose that if you have children, you can get a $10,000, what was it? Was it $10,000 or was it $1,000? What was it? $10,000 in tax return.
It was $10,000 per homeschooled child.
Yeah, per homeschooled child. So yeah. Yep. So if you homeschool your children, you can get $10,000 per child on your taxes as a tax break.
Yeah, I hope I can get it for all of them for past fucking years because I've always I homeschooled before it was cool. Okay.
Yeah. So all you
I supported Trump before it was cool.
So all you Democrats and liberals,
as soon as he comes back, and it's all sunshine and rainbows, and the economy's booming, and all these people are eating fucking steaks with their tax breaks and shit. They're They're still going to find something to complain about because they're not ever going to be happy.
Yep.
Ever.
There's
And those
no
people
satisfaction with
won't
some of
be
these
in my life. Yeah.
Deny excessive tax breaks on
And I
multi-million
will-
dollar executive compensation.
Well, again, we went over that a while ago
quadruple
too.
the tax on stock buybacks. He believes that this would discourage practices that prioritize shareholder gains.
They'll never be
broader
happy, Miranda.
economic growth.
Yeah, I don't. We quadruple. What was that again? Let's listen to that one again because I didn't
Yeah,
hear
go
all
ahead.
that one.
He believes that this would discourage practices that prioritize.
Hold on, let's start it back here.
Shareholder would deny
He would deny
excessive tax breaks on multi-million dollar executive compensations and quadruple the tax on stock buybacks. He believes that this would discourage practices that prioritize shareholder gains over broader economic growth. He would maintain the
Oh, okay. Thoughts on that one? I'm a little fuzzy on that one. Not gonna lie to you.
Economics. Yes. Economics suck right now.
Thanks for contributing, Matt. Appreciate it.
This motherfucker. This motherfucker. You should have just said monkey.
That's all you need to know. They suck.
I
Okay.
guess.
Right.
I don't know.
tax credit that has
What's wrong with
benefited
their hair?
million children.
The child tax credit again. We just kind of went over the fact that
Mhm.
Biden or Trump was after actually offering homeschool kids for sure.
And this one I think is for the farmers. It says he will continue to support domestic fertilizer production. They've already given out $50 million in grants, but there is a total of $900 million in funding for the program. He will
Again, and a part. Okay, go ahead.
If you didn't hear it, she goes, I think this is for the farmers.
Thanks for the farmers.
She
Yeah.
goes,
Well,
I think this one's for the farmers.
and again,
You
a
don't
lot
know
of the big.
what fertilizer's for?
Yeah, that's a good point. But again, the big argument with people on the left is by raising the corporate tax credit or by raising the corporate tax rate, it's to bring in more money for other things like roads and bridges and things like that. Which again, if we didn't spend all this money in Ukraine, we would have that money already.
Mhm.
I mean, why do we have to continue to do this sort of thing to get that money when we already had it, but you guys are spending it? Which again, Joe Biden loves to also, brag about the fact that he lowered the deficit. He did not do that. He's also contributed to it as well.
Back to what Miranda was saying. These people think that food comes from the grocery store. It comes from a farm.
Yeah. I seen the thing about that
Yeah.
not too long ago. Those people, they were
Yeah.
asking
Without these
college
truckers-
kids, where does food come from? And they was like the grocery store. And it was like,
It comes
no,
from
no.
agriculture,
How did it
farming.
get there?
which guess what?
In
front big
mid-level countries.
Which guess what? Fossil fuels fuel them tractors that give you your food that you can purchase at the store.
Yep.
And I'm
Also
sorry,
fuel those
I hate to be
semi-trucks
that guy
deliver
too. I'm just going to say it. Climate does change, but it's not the existential threat that they're making it out to be.
No, it is not.
And I'm sorry, boo boo. Getting rid of your little SUV gas guzzler is not going to fix a hill of beans when it comes to this supposed issue. If Joe Biden and all these climate activists really gave a damn about the climate, they'd be preaching to China right now to stop doing their excessive, emissions.
What they're
Fly their
doing.
jets
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, they fly their jets to Davos every year at the World Economic Forum to try to discuss
And
how to rule everybody's lives, but yet they use all their fuel for that. So
real quick, they wouldn't have made hemp illegal. And then, sure, they're fighting for it now, but they made it illegal. And now they're trying to fight to change their own shit.
because they know it'll actually help people.
Yeah.
And
will.
and you're
It
not spending
does.
money on big pharma. You're not spending money on the drugs.
Exactly.
Which Joe
But
apparently says.
it's legal enough. Did you know though? It's legal enough in Indiana where you can buy THCA products in Bloomington from a store, just like you could in Chicago or
Colorado.
or just across the border. It's
Well-
it's classified differently, but they're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to touch on that because
Well-
I am very pro THC product.
Right. Well, speaking of big pharma,
on pharmaceutical costs. Now, they already did this on
Mhm.
Medicaid and Medicare. Were they able to cap the cost of insulin at $35? But there's a bunch more prescriptions that they could do that kind of negotiating on.
okay, two things on this. One, Trump already did that. And when Trump lowered the cost of insulin, Biden's first day in office rescinded that executive order. So then the cost of insulin went up. And so then Biden could lower the cost and cap it at $35 and then take credit.
Yes.
So,
Let me take credit for what.
Hold
Trump has done.
on. So I had heard this earlier, and so I was like, no shot. but that's what he did. He literally, it's like the equivalent of somebody copying your homework. See, you got a better grade. Took your paper, erased your name, and put their name over top of theirs, and then put your name on the other one and turned it in.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's taking credit for somebody else's work.
Yeah. Hey, I raised prices 200%, but I dropped it 30%, and then I'll take credit for that. It's still up 170% though, Jack. I mean, read the facts. That's what he likes to say, right? Also, he wants to say he wants to take on Big Pharma and cap all these prescriptions. Okay, cool. Big Pharma's evil, right? But yet you gave them, I don't know, countless amounts of money when you forced the vaccine on people. Yes, it was a free vaccine, but guess who made money off of it? It was pharma.
Yeah.
A whole lot of money off of it.
So
Yeah.
you can say it all you want, but your actions don't reflect your words. He would keep the Affordable Care Act. Of course, we went over earlier why that's not necessarily a good thing.
Which is now $800 less in premiums.
Think about that. $800 less in premiums. How much were people paying before?
Shit.
I mean, if he lowered them, great, but they're still paying.
I still feel like
$800 less.
Shit.
Anyway.
Year. He promised to continue to chip away at student debt. They have already canceled over $130 billion in student loans for millions of borrowers. So
okay.
That's horseshit.
Biden has not canceled debt. He has canceled it for some people who borrowed it. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean it's not going to get paid back. The taxpayers, you, me, who, by the way, I responsibly paid off all my student loans by myself.
Mine are too.
And people who've never had a college degree have to pay for somebody who's got a liberal arts degree or even a bigger degree like a doctorate, who never have to pay back their student loans, but people who can't afford to now have to because he's transferred that to other people. He's not canceled anything. So let's get it straight. But he likes to say, "Oh, I helped all these people get a little more breathing room." Yeah, you might have helped some people, and those people are going to vote for you anyway. But you hurt a lot of other people in the process. They don't like to talk about that. So when you got to pay a little bit more on your eggs and your bread and all this, more money's coming out of your check. Well, that's because he paid off student loans for some folks who were irresponsible and can't be trusted to do it themselves.
More of that. He's going to use the U.S. military to build a floating dock for humanitarian aid to get into the Gaza Strip.
Okay. Again, there are innocent people in Gaza and Palestine. Okay. Nobody wants to see anyone die. Okay. No. But when your leadership, who you have voted in, now granted, there were some things like, there's not been a vote in a long time and things like that. But when your country goes to war with Israel, there's going to be casualties. War is hell. Okay. That's just the way it is. Nobody likes it. But when you're giving these humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza, you know why the people of Gaza are not getting this humanitarian aid? Because their leaders in Hamas are making sure once it gets to Gaza, it does not go to them. It goes to the people in Hamas. So building a dock over there, all you're doing is giving aid and military stuff to the terrorist organization who caused all this to begin with.
Eric, you were preaching to the choir.
So how does this help? Outside of, again, using taxpayer money on a war that we have nothing involved with, and if we just let Israel finish the job. Okay, and here's the other. Okay, they're about to get into this too.
Also work to keep the doors open between
Israel and Palestine
about a
peace solution. Which, by the way, there will not be a peace solution between Hamas and Israel.
Ever.
The only acceptable terms for Hamas and that terrorist organization is the total and utmost eradication of the Jewish people. From river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That is literally what that means. There is no other acceptable outcome for them, and Israel knows that. That's why they feel That's why they feel like they have to take care of these people and get them off the face of the planet, or this war will only continue. By offering peace to these people, it will only cause more bloodshed.
It does not stop, and they will not stop.
No. So, and if we just take the chains off Israel, this will all be over sooner rather than later, and a lot less people will die because of it.
Yep.
Remember, the Republicans said that they want to make Gaza a parking lot. And lastly, border control. He says that if bipartisan legislation to protect the border passes, it would give him the right to immediately close the border.
A right that he already has on right now.
Hey, so you watched the State of the Union, right?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember when he brought this part up not only were the Republicans booing him, but there were some Democrats that also booed him the moment that came out of his mouth.
Because they know he loves to tout the fact that the reason why this bill isn't passed is because Trump is playing politics and he's trying to stop it because he knows it's good for him politically and he can't allow Biden to have a win. It's not got anything to do with that. The bill is garbage. The bill is trash. The reason why Biden or Trump is trying to put a stop to it is because it still allows 5,000 to 8,500 illegals to come in without any consequences before anything can be even done, before the president can even step in. That's why Joe wants to put this in. So when Trump, if he gets back into office, Trump is handcuffed at that point. He can't stop it until it hits a certain level. And 5,000 to 800 or 8,500 migrants a day is still way too many. It should be 0 unless you're coming through a port of entry that's legal. So you could say it's Trump playing politics all you want. It's Biden playing politics here.
Her eyebrows, though.
Trump has no problem with this. If it was a solid bill, he's been preaching close the border now because he can do it. Biden on day one rescinded all of Trump's border policies, like remain in Mexico and things like that. So when he could reverse it with the stroke of a pen, but he can't shut down the border now with the stroke of a pen. Biden's lying to you. That's what he's doing.
It would also fund the immediate hiring of 1,300 Border Patrol agents, 375 immigration judges, 1,000.
What good are all these positions if they're not allowed to take action until a certain point?
Cutting-edge inspection machines that can help detect
None. There is no good.
Border. I will be posting live during the State of the Union tonight. I will also have a wrap-up.
And that's the end of her video. So we basically just debunked all of that. And you're welcome to look any of that up. It's common knowledge. You just got to follow the right people and look at the right places. I mean, if you're following MSNBC, CNN, The View, all these mainstream propagandists out there, you're not going to know any of this stuff because all they're going to do is, completely come to the aid of the Biden administration and lie to you to your face and not even think twice about it. They will sleep soundly at night. You've got to start looking at other places like X, YouTube. There's other places with dissenting voices that they're trying to silence. That's why Rumble is now a thing. True Social is now a thing because they've had to move.
You know what? TikTok is a thing.
Yeah,
Brayden and I have been talking. You've been talking about shorts more. We've been going for a really long time tonight.
Yeah, we're
all these shorts and stuff that are on TikTok or now on YouTube. We can get this information out there faster that way, I think. So while I love this, I want to get more of the shorts and sound bites, we'll call them, out there.
I mean,
and
I'm trying.
Attention span suck.
Well, it's because I follow this stuff daily, and it's because I want to be informed. And it's not because I'm obsessed or I'm a Trump cultist, or it's got nothing to do with that. That whole narrative is garbage.
No, it is.
I mean, if anything, the people on the left who abjectly believe all this propaganda, they're in the cult. If anything else, it's like you want to throw that word around when you can't even look in the mirror.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway, I try not to be very political on my channel, but with this podcast, and I know Miranda's got a show she's interested in doing, I think, and things like that, there will be times I get more political on here because obviously I'm passionate about it. But it's just because I don't like lying. I mean, as a Christian, I like the truth to be told. There is objective truth out there. It's not just about your feelings. Okay.
Hey,
at the end of the day,
if anybody has read my Substacks, I'm all about the truth.
Yeah.
Real bad. Like, the truth fucking hurts, but I want to know it.
And I'm tired. And to be honest, I'm tired of, to lack of a better term, pussyfooting around and not telling it like it is. Okay, because there's too many people out there who was too afraid to say what's happening, and just like, oh well, I can't offend them. I don't want to do that. They'll get in trouble. No,
what's wrong?
It's time to stand up for what's right in this world, and we need more people to have the courage to do so. And